Welcome, everybody. Happy Wednesday afternoon. We're happy to have you all. There's a few more people still connecting, so we'll just go ahead and wait just a couple of seconds, let everybody's computers load up. Everybody hear me? Thumbs up. We got audio. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Erwin. Appreciate it. Bart, appreciate it. Awesome. There's a few people on this call that I haven't met yet that I probably have phone calls coming up with or that I had a phone call with already. Just to introduce myself, my name is Jackson Campbell. I oversee all customer relations, so I want to make sure everything's taken care of. I know I've talked to a couple of you guys today. I look forward to, if I haven't talked to you guys yet, to talk to you guys here coming up shortly. Today we have an awesome underwriting class prepared by Zach and Ryan. We're really excited to have them go over that underwriting template a little more in detail. The last one, we got a bunch of great feedback back on our last underwriting call, so we're going to make sure that we keep doing these to help you all understand that template and help you all underwrite these deals. Ryan, what's up, man?
Just living the dream, bro. A little Hawaii weather here. Living it up in Florida, right? Yeah. Other than that, that's it. But hey, if you guys can do me a favor, if you guys can put your names in your area. Jackson, I don't know if you know how to do it. You just hit the ellipsis there at the top right.
Yep.
If you just put your names, if your name's not like showing. Awesome.
We definitely want your name shown so we know who you are for sure. Absolutely. And then if we can just have the mic stay off unless you have a question, we don't have any background noises. Zach and Ryan are presenting. I'll go ahead and turn the time over to Zach, and he can go ahead and get started.
Awesome. Yeah, see a lot of new faces, so welcome everyone. I'm so excited that you're all here. This is going to be great. I hope you guys can learn from this and gather some good information and help you guys underwrite better. And so we'll ask some questions, try to figure out what you guys really need. We covered a lot about a week and a half ago. We had about a 3-hour training that kind of went in depth from the beginning through the phase of the value add tab in the underwriting template. So there's a lot we covered, but there's still a lot left in the template. So we'll just see questions you guys have, kind of go from there. And then
hey, really quick, Jackson, did we upload the advanced underwriting class up into the path yet?
It is there yet.
Awesome. So if you guys don't know what he's talking about, there's some people from Tampa. Hop on and watch that. That's it's 3 hours long, but come on, you get pure entertainment with me on there, just immediate on for 3 hours.
And it's good information. It's not just entertaining. It's great information to teach you how to underwrite these deals. It's an awesome class. So definitely jump on there and watch it. If you can't find it, shoot me an email, shoot me a text, call me. I can walk you through that, make sure that you guys get access to all that as well. Zach, if you'll share your screen real quick so I can take back those host privileges, let those others that are waiting to jump in. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, share my screen?
Yes.
Let's see. All right.
Perfect.
Sweet. So first off, do we want to start with any questions, Ryan? I know you did a Facebook post, and I think we probably got, all I saw last was Kimberly's.
Listen, all I can see in that Facebook post is me breaking out, man. This Florida sun, I forget to put sunscreen on, man. I just look awful. Anyway, no, that's great. Hey, we just want to make a few comments on it though. Is some of you guys are underwriting deals and you send them into Zach and whatnot. But if you want us to to go over these deals, we're going to be doing this every other week. If you have any items that you want us to touch on to go over, man, this is what it's all about. We've been a part of different networks. Amanda on here, we were part of the same network. And listen, other guys aren't doing this that often. And if you don't know how to underwrite, you're going to have tremendous problems in this in this industry.
So or at all.
What's that, Amanda?
Or at all.
Or at all, right? So we want to make sure that this is an every other week class so that you guys can get your answers. So here's the thing, Zach and I do this on a daily basis. And so for us, it's easy. And we may skip steps or we may do something. So we want it to always be interactive, but we want to go over what you're struggling with. So you may have certain areas, like he's got his arrow there under gross potential rent. We get a lot of questions on that. Zach, I'm sure you get areas of questions that people have that are just for us. It's super easy. We just put it in and do it. But we want to be able to teach you guys. So make sure these classes, as we do them, they're as extremely interactive as possible. That's it.
All right. So first off, for those that weren't here last training, we'll just kind of run through what we have so far. This was a deal called Courtyard of Roses in Texas that we submitted a LOI on, but missed out on the opportunity. They accepted a different offer. But I just wanted to show it was a great example to kind of show and share with you guys. I had a great offering memorandum that we used. It was pretty solid T12, the trailing 12 statement, and a rent roll as well. So this deal, it was a 224 unit deal. Purchase price was $23 million, and our plan was a 5-year hold. We inputted all the seller's information from the T12, and then we put in our expected assumptions of what would happen in the first year of us owning the property. And up here at top, we can kind of see what the returns were up to scroll over. Up here to the top, the first year would be a 6.3% return. Annual rate of return was just a 12%, and then annual cash on cash was 9.5. We probably messed with the numbers a little bit, but overall, this deal was a pretty good deal. I think it needed to have a bridge loan, so that's probably why the numbers are a little off. But yeah, so Kimberly had a question about value adds. Well, let's just jump into that section. In this value add section, we had quite a bit with this property that was laid out from the broker in the offering memorandum. He shared a lot of great information of potential value adds, and some of that was the rent, below market rent, and if we renovated the units. So $200 our below market rent, and $120 for renovating 56 of the units. So I helped a lot. That was a strong value add. And then we had some other income opportunities, some other value adds over here, which was washer and dryer leasing to residents.
Hey, Zach, if we can, let's stop there really quick on that, and touch base on the premium below market rents and then the renovated units. I see a lot of times people will put in their below market rent and renovated units all into one area. I'm going to tell you, and Zach, you may have a different opinion because we can look at things differently, and that's all right. We get to the same result, right? But, I like to separate everything out. Just like Zach has it right there. Essentially what you're saying is this could potentially be $320 on the market. There's a lot of different ways to look at it. So you need to be as accurate as you can in these numbers. How much is it below market rent? What does that mean? right? Below market rent means, we haven't got to what the market is. So let's say the property is renting at, I'll give you one of our examples right now. We were at $1,000. The market's at $1,200. We just closed on this deal in January. We've been pushing all of those rents to $1,200 as the leases, come due, or as they're renewing. So that would be $200 on a market rent, just like this example. But if we upgrade the units, we could get another $50 to $75 on them, right? On top of that. And so you have to remember that as you go through this, you have to separate those out. And you can find a lot of it in the offering memorandum, but some of them you're gonna have to ask the broker on those questions.
Yeah, definitely. And if some of you are asking, well, what kind of questions do I need to ask the broker? I just posted on the Facebook group page a PDF that I created that goes through a list of questions to first kind of ask yourself to see if you know that information about the property. And then second, if you don't know that information, you can use those questions and ask the broker to figure all that information out, which is a lot of it is trying to figure out what the market rent is, what the premiums could be, and then different value add opportunities. So check that PDF out. It will really help you in underwriting. So like Ryan was talking about, kind of going into the unit upgrades and below market rent, I want to emphasize this part down here. So he was kind of talking about separating out making sure that we know what's separated from market rent to the premiums. Right here is going to help you do that. You're going to need to figure out how many units have already been upgraded, and then this will populate how many units are left to be upgraded. So that's critical to know, and then how many units are actually below market rent. So in this case, all 224 units are $200 below market rent, and then 168 of them, if you renovated them, you could add an extra $120 on top of that. So those 168 units are technically $320 you can increase the rent on. It's a very strong value add aspect. Are there any questions?
Why did we lose this? That's what I want to know. Sure, everyone else wants to know why we lost it. We lost it because we didn't put enough earnest money deposit down. That's why we lost it.
Shame.
It's a big shame, man. That's that. Oh man.
Hey Ryan, what's typical for like how long will you distance your rent increases throughout the years? Like obviously not all in year one, right?
Well, Eric, I can't answer any questions until you commit that you're going to propose to your girlfriend here. So I hope your future in-laws are on this call.
Just got her a trip to Hawaii. We'll see what happens over there.
Maui?
No, Big Island.
All right. Tyler's going to be disappointed. So yeah, great question. You see a lot of times people want to put it in the first year, and that's just done by mistake, right? But typically you're going to look at, you can do a 40-40-10 like he did here. A lot of it is going off of who your property management company is, right? How strong are they? What's their history? And then how many lease renewals you have. One of the biggest mistakes that I see, and Zach, tell me if you do as well, is I look at lease terminations all the time on a rent roll. If you look at the first 12 months, now this is not in the first underwriting, guys. This is as you do a deep dive underwriting. Amanda will make sure she clarifies this with me. On your first underwriting, you wouldn't do that. But, when you get into the rent roll and you look at lease terminations, you want to be able to see, when, at what month. So I go over a 12 months, and I see each month how many are terminating on those, on each of those units. So if it's, happening in 6 months, I may do 20 or 30%, where I know it's going to be the following year. So that's a great question, Eric, though. It's, some of it's your management company. Some of it is your rent renewals or your lease renewals, and then some of it is what your market is doing. So it's going to go off your CMA or your competitive market analysis, and knowing what the other competitors, what their rents are at.
Hey, Ryan, this is Kerwin. I got a question for you. I'm looking at a rent roll for property right now. It's got market rents. Let's say, okay, $705, right? And this was April of 2020. All the people shows renewed their lease, but none of the people show paying that market rent. So they playing games with the figures there, or what would you say?
Are they paying under or over market?
They're playing under.
Yeah. So there's one thing. That's a great question. There's one thing to remember on this. When you look at a rent roll, just because they have market rent doesn't mean that's the market rent, right? That's their market rent. That's the property management's market rent. If you were to go off some of our management company that we have in the Carolinas, they'll bump it up $50 for the year, when in reality, we could bump it up a lot higher than that if we wanted to. And so it's our job to go out and understand the market. So this is, Amanda talked about this, 2 or 3 weeks ago on a call about only getting into 2 markets, right? Why is it we only get to 2 markets? It's so you understand that market and what's going on with the CMA. There's a reason behind that. And so if you know what rents are going at, 705, you said, but really the markets are going at 800, that's your new, market rent area. So when you go to Zach's going to ask you that question, not necessarily what the rent roll is going to be doing, but what is the market doing? Does that make sense?
Yep, makes a lot of sense.
You don't want to trust what, because here's the thing, you can go to like Trinity in the Dallas market. You can go to, there's a couple other places. They may not have the best, CMAs, or they may have someone who's lazy or doesn't put the right amount in. Well, that would definitely affect the deal not working out because you didn't do your homework on it.
Okay, great. Thanks. This is a deal in Kentucky I'm looking at, but.
Oh, awesome. I love it. Lexington, or where we're at in Kentucky?
This is Louisville.
Love Louisville, man.
Hey, Ryan, Amanda, I just wanted to go back to Eric's question real quick, if it's okay. Correct me if I'm wrong. Even though we would be doing a deep dive to determine when those lease expirations are, we can certainly ask the broker, what percentage of people were just added, what leases were renewed. We can start to get an idea of that and who the major employers are before we put out an LOI.
100%. Some of the questions I ask is what kind of concessions are being given right now? What are they doing as far as renewals? How many renewals do they have coming up in the next 60 to 90 days? Because we're going to close in at least 60, but we're always building in extensions for, up to 90. So you bet. I want to know those answers. That's a great one.
Yeah. So, the more information we can get up front, if the broker's willing to play, the better, we can make those decisions about how long it's going to take us to burn off that loss to lease.
Awesome. Yep. Exactly.
Good evening. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes,
I can hear you.
Okay. Yes, my name is Janina, and we just got out of, myself and my partners, we just got out of the training on Sunday.
Yeah, we know you're Haifa's mom.
Yes, I am.
There we go.
Yeah, so we really new at this. So I need, there's some things that you're saying that I don't understand. And that is the two markets. You said why are you only in two markets? What two markets are you talking about?
Yeah, no, great question. So, and that'll actually be on a call that you'll be on tomorrow with Amanda. So she's going to go over that tomorrow.
Okay.
But here's the thing. So many people, when they start out, they want to get into like 5 markets, 4 markets, because they want deal flow coming in. You spread yourself out around, so many different markets. You're going to be confused as far as, rent gross, what are the specific market, research that you need to find out in those markets. So, what we tell people is focus on 2 markets, pick 2 markets and focus on those and get all the information in those markets you can.
Oh, that's the 2 areas. Like I'm in Florida. I could pick Florida and say North Carolina. Is that what you're talking about?
No, don't pick North Carolina. It's a bad market. I mean,
no, I'm just saying that because my some of my children live there.
No, I tell you that I joke because that's where Tyler and I are at. We're heavily invested in the Carolinas.
You're in North Carolina?
We're in North and South Carolina, so.
Oh, okay.
Awesome. All right,
you just don't want us to come in that area, huh?
Hey, you come join us in that area. We'd love it.
Listen here, right? She can invest anywhere she wants, okay? She's my homegirl and she can go anywhere.
I'll kick my ass. If you guys haven't listened to Haifa's music, you go listen to Haifa's music. All right, Zach, let's get, sorry, I cut you off there, Zach.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Anytime, man.
No worries. All right. No, those are great questions. Keep asking those questions. We want to, answer those questions. So great questions. Where were we? So we're at market rent, figuring all that information out. Let's actually skip over to kind of value add opportunities. And I'd love to hear from you guys what you guys think are some value add opportunities. What are things you can do? We talked about raising rent for market rent and renovating units. What are other things that you guys think you could do to a property to raise the
Washer and dryer.
Yep, washer and dryer.
Mm-hmm. Painting up, sprucing the outside.
Yep, increasing the value of the outside of the property.
Mm-hmm.
Kitchen countertops.
Mm-hmm. And interior renovations.
Electric and water billing direct to the tenant.
Okay, a RUBS bill back. So let's talk about that a little bit because that one's that one can be confusing, and there's so many different opportunities with a RUBS bill back. So a RUBS bill back is a utility bill back that you can do in certain markets, at certain properties, and there's different forms. So one form would be a general flat fee billing back to the tenants, billing back a $50 fee for water or a $50 fee for electricity, just a flat fee to them every month, and you know exactly how much you're getting back. Another one can be either you can do a self-metered, where every unit is metered by itself, and so the tenants are being charged by their usage. But that one can be pretty expensive front, having to self-meter every single unit. So usually, typically, that would be better if a property is already set up that way.
We just paid $50,000 on one of our properties in North Carolina.
Another way would be to bill back based off of.
Mm-hmm. We lost them.
Oh, did we lose Zach?
Yeah, it sounds like it.
I thought it was mine. Yeah. No, we just actually did sub metering in our property in Signal Hill. It's in Statesville, North Carolina. It cost us almost $50,000 to put sub metering in. Here's the great thing about it. Oh, we did lose him completely. Is Jackson on the call? Melissa, do you want to reach out to him really quick?
I've got him. I'll reach out to him for sure.
So we just added in, but it's going to add back in 75%. Our returns on it, Melissa, what did we account for? It was like $400,000 or $500,000 in equity over a 4 or 5 year period is what we would add by adding them in. So, sub metering is actually, is definitely the way to go. It can be quite expensive, like he said. So most people get into the RUBS, which is a ratio utility build back system. So you are billing system, but most people just do that because it's easier. And some counties actually don't allow, to do like rubs. You have to do submetering. So let's do this. While he gets back on, let's throw out some more value adds. So I want to do value. When we think of value add, I want you to think of what is going to make us more money in the net operating income, right? So in the NOI, how do we increase the NOI? And that's as far as value adds, that's what we want to talk about.
Premiums for
Preferred parking, absolutely.
premiums for like pool view or courtyard view or something.
Eric, it's funny you say that. We just got purchased a property. It's Tropical Ridge. It's in Columbia, South Carolina, and we have a quarry, that's there.
Okay.
It's amazing. This quarry is over 100 years old. And anyway, it has trees that surround, because they were so cheap, they didn't want to go in and fix it. So these trees have now blocked the view of it. So we're actually adding $100. I think Melissa, right? $100 is what we're adding to each of those units to have a view of that. So that's awesome. That's a great value add.
Yeah, like trash.
Hey, what
Trash,
trash. What about a pet park, dog park?
So a park, not necessarily, but maybe an enclosed fence area, like a private yard, a private backyard would definitely be an area we can add to. I think Lynn, you started to say something, Lynn, didn't you?
Just valet where you can put it out of your door and like once a week have somebody come pick it up, something like that.
Yep. So I've seen people charge $20 on that. So definitely an area. What else do we have?
Pets.
What about renting? I don't know if this would qualify, but clubhouse rentals monthly. I know Mark.
Yeah. If you have a decent clubhouse, absolutely you can rent that out. You bet.
Vending may be an option for extra.
What is?
Vending machines in condominium.
Vending machines. I like that. We got Frankie, huh? Frankie, how's your guys' deal coming in? And hang on, I'm gonna mess this up. At Narcalusa?
No.
Oh, geez. Come on.
No. One more chance. One more.
Narcusa.
Close. It's Nacogdoches, Texas.
Listen, I was so far off. I wasn't even close. Nacogdoches.
Yeah.
I want to know. Yeah, listen, you guys are strong on that one. I know you guys are getting close there, right?
Yeah, Matt, the broker has been out. He had some family issues, but we have to get in touch with him. But we're still in the running as of today.
I love it. I know Quincy's reached out to you guys too, right? So,
yes.
Yep, all right. We can talk more about that in a couple of days. So, awesome. Yep. Zach, I think we've gone over a few value add opportunities here, man.
All right, what I missed? Good stuff.
Yeah. So Zach, could you talk a little bit about like what the students should be doing to determine if they can add rubs and how much, and how do they figure all of that out? Because I get a lot of questions about that.
Yeah, that's a great question. So the first answer to that is market research. Most of the questions that you guys will probably ask, my generic answer to that will be market research, understanding your market. And that's why Ryan touched on this again, is knowing your two markets that you're in and knowing them really well. So with that, going into more detail on that would be looking at the properties around that property that you're looking at, that deal you're looking at what amenities they have. And most of the time, like even if you check on like apartments.com, they'll even include if the utilities are included in rent or if you have to pay for those utilities. So that's one way to look at it. Another way is to reach out to the property management company that you're in contact with, and also talking to the broker. Those are ways you can figure out if you can implement a REBS system, is seeing what the market's doing, if they are implementing that or not. Because you do not want to be the first one to implement it and raising rents. You probably won't have tenants wanting to live there if you're the first one charging extra more than other properties around you. Does that answer that, Amanda?
Yeah, I think that's pretty helpful. So basically, they just need to do some research to determine what can be charged back, and if it makes sense to do so based on what their competition is doing.
Exactly.
Okay, and then the other thing is too, I know sometimes there is already a RUBS, but oftentimes the management's not collecting on it. Can you talk about what can be done to fix that?
I would say start collecting on it. Put that into place if they're not collecting it, or even some properties will be collecting a small percentage of what they potentially could be receiving in RUBS. They're just charging a small fee, so you can just go in and either increase that fee or implement it a different way.
Now, when you go in to increase anything, do you first go in, and of course you send a letter to the tenants, do you? And then do you make an improvement so that they can see improvement before you start increasing anything so they can see value?
Yes, definitely. You definitely want to go in and show that you're increasing value to the property. And usually that's why a lot of times, and Ryan, you can correct me on this, a lot of times you kind of go in and you improve the outside of the property. You maintain it a lot better. You kind of give back to your tenants kind of at first, so they can see that you really do care about them and you're wanting to improve the property and the community as a whole. And then you go in and you can start increasing rents, because then it's more or increasing different services.
Improving the community is definitely where we want to go for sure. So, but hey, I want to touch base. So Amanda, you brought up the rubs on this. And this is going to be more into like due diligence in a future class that we have. So I don't want to touch a lot on this right now. But one thing to look out for is this. A lot of management companies, depending on what they're doing, and as you're underwriting a deal and looking at it, when you get to the due diligence part and you're looking at like bank statements and stuff like that, it's important to realize there's definitely ways, and I think Zach would be awesome to go over like ways to catch certain things on a future underwriting class. But like you can take rubs and you can put it towards rent, so they can make it look like collections are a lot better than what they truly are. Does that make sense? Oh, Amanda's laughing. So you can take over a property and go, man, collections are great, but then realize you're not getting much in your reimbursements. So in other income, it's important to look at that T12 and see those numbers are there compared to what the expense is as well, right? And so we can have another class on how to identify, maybe little red flags. But that's something, if you're identifying, if you were to take over a property and collections aren't where they should be, because you just jumped the gun, you put an LOI in, put a property under contract, you didn't send it into Zach to underwrite. Those are things that we can catch just because we have experience. And it's something that will really, really hurt you in the long run. So, Amanda, what were you laughing about? You have experience in this, or you've seen it?
I have seen it.
Oh yeah.
I have seen. I've seen cash disguised as occupancy and other things too. So.
Yeah, I think the thing right now is you're seeing it more with COVID and collections of creative ways to make your numbers look better. So it's just important to see that. But even more so, guys, it's so important to send it into the office, right? There's, send it into Zach, have Zach take a look at it. He'll catch these things right away. And if he doesn't, he'll make sure that he asks you specifically to go get more documentation. So, anyway, sorry, Zach, I just added more work to your plate.
That's all right.
It's good. It's all about knowing what you're getting so that you can protect your investors.
For sure.
I have a question.
Yeah, Lynette.
Yes.
Okay. Do we have access to this spreadsheet, or how do we send in the numbers? Just on docs, or do we have access to this spreadsheet so that we can input the numbers and save Zach work, right?
Yes, so you do have access. It's on the path. It's on the online program. You can either find it in week 4 in the underwriting section, or you can find it in the document library.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I'm in week 4, but I haven't done looked at the documents either.
Okay.
Okay, good.
So close.
Okay.
And with that, just so everyone knows, I do update the template frequently. I'll actually be updating it and adding in. So here in the value add tab, we have years 1 through 3. I added in 2 more years, so it goes up to 5 years worth of kind of distributing value add opportunities. So that's updated, and go download the new template that will have 5 years worth of value add opportunity to kind of spread it out through 5 years. So I'll constantly update it, and then I'll post on the Facebook page when I do update it, so you guys know, and you can go back and download the newest version.
I'm very anxious to get to that. However, I'm only in week 1, and Tyler said do not skip, so I have to be patient to get to that.
Yes, be patient. Be patient. Yeah. It will help you going through all those videos. It'll help you understand underwriting better.
Thank you.
For sure. Any other questions right now? Awesome. So we talked about some good value add opportunities, and so ways to include those into the template essentially is right here in the other income section. This is where you're going to add those different opportunities where you do increase value by charging a certain fee and whatnot. So for example, this one's a washer and dryer leasing to residents. So essentially you own these washer and dryers and you're leasing them back to the residents to use in their unit. We're doing it year 1, 50 of the units we're going to start charging or leasing the washer and dryers to. We're going to do that for 40 years a month. And so that will calculate out annually, and that will go into the spreadsheet for you. Another one is, which is pretty popular right now, it's pretty new, that I've noticed, is backyard premium. So people are going in, especially in Texas, probably in Florida too, is adding back little yards to the ground level, the first floor level tenants. If they have a little space, they'll include a little yard for them. and then they increase rent based off that because that's extra space that they have. So that's a pretty popular one right now. And so,
quick question: are there like capital improvement costs associated with some of those upgrades, like
yes,
backyard premium, maybe a fence?
Yes, definitely. There are definitely costs associated with that. And that's something you'll need to know before you just add in that. And that will be over to the right a little bit where we have capital improvements. We'll cover what those costs are. And so that's definitely something you'll need to understand and know what cost it would be per unit to see it. Will include value add opportunities on the OM, the offering memorandum, and it doesn't make sense because they're going to return on the value you put into it. They're going to return and invest it in 5 years for holding the property. Other ones that are pretty, I guess, cheap value add that's not going to cost you a lot is not necessarily covered parking, but like reserved parking spaces. There's not going to be a lot to reserved parking. A cost for you. So for card premiums, it's going to cost a little bit. Over the capital improvements to install backyards, it's about $1,250 a unit to install that. And then
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
What have you seen they charge on reserved parking?
That one can range. Usually you can see about $20 for reserved, probably upwards to $30. Depends on the market for sure. That's something you're going to want to see what you're charging for those.
That would be worth it. So.
Mm-hmm.
And Zach, you're cutting out on my end. I don't know if you turned the video off, if there's a bandwidth issue. Just a thought.
Okay, hopefully I'm not cutting out now.
What about lighting? Is that a value added or is that too expensive or what? Lighting the perimeter?
That's a great question. I don't think it's too expensive. Ryan, you could probably answer that better than I would, but
I just got back on. What was the question?
Was on lighting, about adding lighting to the property. Is that expensive?
We put LED lighting in. We put them in every one of our properties right away. I mean, tenants want lighting, good lighting. That's one of the things they want. So we do. It's not super expensive, but it's definitely worth it. I would definitely build it into your budget for sure.
Mm. Thank you.
I hadn't heard pet rent yet.
Yes, I said pet rent earlier.
Oh, you're way on it.
Talking now.
Good job.
Thank you.
Pet rent's a good one. A lot of people do charge pet rent, but sometimes you can increase how much you are charging in pet rent, at least the monthly fees and whatnot. So it's definitely one to keep an eye on if it's needed. And then there are some properties that don't charge pet rent, or the owners didn't know some residents and have had pets. And so when you're doing your inspections, you can see who will have pets, so you can go back and charge pet rent on those people.
Hey, I've got one thing. So I see that there's covered parking on here, but covered parking, if it doesn't already exist, costs money. So one of the things that we're doing on a property that we're looking at is we're going to start charging reserved parking places. So it costs you a can of spray paint and a stencil to go out and let somebody pick out their reserved parking space for $25 a month.
Yeah, that's great. That's an awesome one. That's definitely an easy value add there. Definitely a lot less expensive than paying $1,250 for a covered parking space.
Yeah, if somebody wants to park close to their door, then it's worth $25 a month, and I'll paint their name on their parking space. I don't care.
I got a question about that. Has any of the property management companies run into problems with having to enforce that preferred parking situation?
What's the question, Brian?
Oh, when you do the preferred parking, have any of the property management companies run into issues enforcing it, where people end up taking up those preferred spots when they're not paying the preferred?
Yeah, you get a good tow truck company in your property, man.
Okay. Yes. I'm just wondering if that's a hassle for the property management company.
No, I'm telling you right now, it's all about setting a precedence in your community. I mean, if you're scared of that, man, it's you probably have the wrong management company in your property. And so the thing is it's setting the tone straight out of the gate, right, of what you expect and don't expect.
Okay.
And so we send out notices of what the changes are, what we'll do. I mean, I'll tell you, it takes 1 or 2 or 3 cars to get towed. And
okay, and word spreads really quickly too.
Oh, real quick.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, I actually used to work with my brother towing cars, and one of the things that he did, I mean, his company had contracts with all the apartment complexes, and they actually paid the apartment complex. So this might be another value
to have that contract.
That contract because they got $250 for every car that they towed out of there for people to come pick up their car. So they paid the apartment complex $75 a car.
Yeah, that's something you do have to watch for though, because you'll find a lot of property management, like on-site managers that will pocket money. So you've got to watch that as, I mean, if you're a third party or asset management, they'll pocket it. So you definitely have to keep an eye on that stuff. But no, I was just at one of our properties a month ago or so, and this Mercedes kept parking in the handicap spot with no handicap stickers or anything. I mean, I tell you, there's nothing pisses me off more than that. And anyway, I called, I told her, get your tow truck guy over here. It was after like 2 days, and every day they park there. And so I had to talk with the management company. No, listen, or the on-site manager. This has got to happen, right? You have to set the precedence right now. And they did. They called and they towed the person away. I mean, tenant was furious, but they haven't parked there since.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't know if anybody said add storage to your property, storage units.
Yes, that's a good one too. Low cost of that, but it's definitely you can get good money for those. What's up, Mr. Ron? How you doing?
Good.
Good.
Sorry, I was cooking dinner.
No, you're all right. Awesome. All right, Zach. Hey, Zach, I had to jump off really quick. Is Zach on?
Yeah.
So, one thing that, Zach and I have talked about lately is this. If you look at year one, and Zach, if you want to put your cursor over year one, here's the thing. You see everyone that in year one, another income. What happens is a lot of times everyone, when they're underwriting, they want to put all of their stuff in year one, right? So let's say the washer and dryer leasing on this one was 100. They want to put 100 right there. The things you have to realize is if you put it all in year one, that means that your cash on cash for that year is going to change. So when you get projections out to your investors, that's going to mess up your numbers or your returns there. So it's important to separate it out and make them in phases. That's why Zach has done this in 3 different years so that you can go in phases on this, right? You never want to put everything and just upload it into the first year because the thing is you'll have some extremely upset investors. So plus you want to know what your returns are as well. So make sure that you spread these out. And if you have any questions on that, Zach is a champ at this, super good. So make sure that you ask them, how many phases or how far out should you spread these?
Hey, Ryan, I have a question. So I actually had a question from a potential sponsor on the underwriting that we did for one of our properties. And he asked about operational, not the capital reserves, but operational reserves. Do we have that reflected in the underwriting template somewhere?
Yeah. So you're talking about the Fannie Freddie reserves that they're requiring right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you talking about the 2-month reserves that management companies? There's different reserves that you would ask.
Yeah. So just the money that you set aside for operational reserves, so not the Fannie Freddie stuff, just extra money.
You're talking about 2-month operational.
Yeah.
It's more included in the closing costs in the 3%. But if you prefer, I mean, we can separate those out. So where it's a 2-month and does that, it's just one more line item in the spreadsheet. But your 3% will account for that.
Okay. Yeah, because I figured it was in here somewhere. I just didn't. He asked me how much we had for operating reserves, and the only answer I had was I don't know.
It's 2 months expenses is what you're going to do. Okay. So that's what you would tell them, but it's included in your 3% closing costs.
Okay, perfect. Good to know. All right, thank you, sir.
Hey, Brian, to piggyback off of that question too, we know we have other costs associated with closing, like appraisers and inspection. Is that in the 3% also?
What was that, Frankie? Which ones?
When we consider closing, we know that we have appraisal reports and inspections that have to take place. Is that amount or value included in closing also?
Yes, ma'am. Yep. Surveys, title reports. You've got attorney fees in there. So, what I can do is I can see on one of our properties we closed on, if I can get a closing report, or I can just get one from Stephanie, our attorney, and then we can see if Jackson can send that out to the group. So it's cool to see how those breakdowns go. So you'll see like on bigger properties. So we're best and final on a $23 million deal. Total closing costs are like $700,000, $750,000. The thing is we're not going to need $750,000. It'll probably be more of like 600. 575, somewhere around there. So it's good to dial those costs in, knowing it, because you can actually use some of that money and go into a different area if you want, or you can cut that back, and get pretty close to that to make a deal work. So that actually happens quite a bit.
Okay. And I guess another question too is COVID reserves. I know that is included too, or should?
Yeah. Do you want to go over really quick, Zach? Do you want to show the underwriting data tab? And that's where it's reflected in that one.
Okay.
I think that would be helpful too, because then they can also see what they have to raise.
It is right there. The 1-year P&I. principal and interest. So on this one, it's $988,250. Yep, so that is included in your numbers. So if he scrolls down just a little bit, you can see capital reserves they require, first year insurance, capital improvements, utility deposit, and a total acquisition or a total raise of $10 million.
Okay.
So I don't want to get too much into. I think in the next session on underwriting, we can get more into the 1 year P&I on the COVID reserves. Because here's the thing: there's a way to do it to where, think about it, after 12 months, you're going to get this money back. What's happening when you guys are out underwriting deals right now? You're doing capital improvements, and you're not realizing that you also have the 1 year P&I in there. So on this, it's going to reflect a little over $2 million in capital improvements, but we only needed like 1.2 or something like that. So the thing is, you can lower your capital improvement number that you have in the input area, knowing that in 12 months, you're going to get another almost $1 million back. Does that make sense?
It does. I actually leveraged that advice that you gave me in the property we're pursuing now. So
if you don't do it, you're going to find that a lot of your deals are not going to work at all, period. So remember, guys, we do everything in phases on properties. You do them. I do them in 3 phases. It doesn't mean that you have to do them in 3 phases, but listen, I know my shit. So no, Amanda, listen, I love to see Amanda laugh. No, listen, it is, everything's done. I do in 3 phases. It's typically done in like a 12, 18, and 24 month phase. And so, on this, knowing I'm going to get it back in 12 months, I can start doing some other things after that. So this goes down into your value adds. How many units are you going to fix up? So if you go back to the value add tab really quick, Zach. Right there. So you see how he has everything broken down into 3 years? So this is why I separate everything out into 3 years. And this is why Zach does it as well, because everything's done in phases. So you can see in the second year, you can start putting money back in of the P&I or the COVID reserves that you have. You can start putting it into that second year, offsetting it to where you don't have to raise as much money up front. Does that make sense?
Hey, Ryan, is that baked into this spreadsheet, or is that something you have to finagle on your end?
That's something you have to manipulate on your end. Is that Pete? You just asked that question, right?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. No, yeah, that is something that that's something that you just have to finagle at, but it's important to know, guys, how much total capital improvement budget you need. So you can see right here in the capital improvement area, we have $1.3 million there, right? Plus he has the 988,000. So it's 2.2 to almost 2.3 million right there. Or no, it's 2.3 million. You're so quick, Zach. Look at that. So 2.3 million. We don't need it. We only need 1.3 million to do in capital improvements on this one. Now, here's the thing. If your numbers work on this, and your total returns or your annual rate of return is where it needs to be, you can use some of that money either as a return on capital, or you can do it for distributions to your investors, making sure that they're always getting paid what they're supposed to get paid. But no, to answer your question, Pete, on that one, no, on this one, we would definitely take some money off knowing we're going to get money in the second year.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I've been underwriting for the last month, and I never really thought to do that, but that's a key piece there.
On bigger deals like this, you'll see that they will never work if you don't account for it. So my recommendation, guys, is reach out to Zach on that, because he will be able to walk you through, pulling some money back, not pulling out the full amount. Frankie, you laughing there? Have you reached out to Zach? Does Zach help you a ton? He's good, huh? Oh, she's muted.
Yeah, I like Zach.
You like Zach. Zach is he's definitely great. So no, I mean, he'll be able to help you guys know, how much of that capital improvement you need to take back or not include. All right, Zach. Sorry, man. I jumped too much in. I'm going to put myself on mute.
Oh, this has been great. No, I appreciate that, Ryan. You provided some really good feedback and value, I believe, so everyone can understand that.
Quick question.
Yes, Garrett?
The looking at upgrades and below market rent, it's got like year 1, additional GPR, year 2, year 3. Are you defining year 1 as, how are you defining that as far as timeline? Is that start from day 1 of ownership to month 12 being year 1, or is that captured from month 13 to 24 for year 1?
That would be capturing from day of close to end of the 12 months. So that first year of ownership.
Okay, so
that's why we want to make sure we don't include a lot on year 1, particularly. We want to keep it kind of low on year 1 to make sure that we are kind of setting everything up and we're not accounting for too much. Because
right.
You won't be able to renovate, a lot of units right up front off day 1. It's going to take you some time, so definitely want to keep that as a lower number.
So is that how this template accounts for like the ramp up? Like, so for example, if you were going to typically reposition 40%, so that'd be 90 units. Usually, talking about phases, usually it'd be like 7 or 8 units per month. So wouldn't it typically be a smaller number as far as the potential GPR, since you're not doing all 90 of those units on day one, so you won't see that full GPR after year one. I'm trying to make sure I'm saying it right. Like,
yeah, no, I totally understand that. And definitely, it's definitely something to understand. Kind of going back to like what Ryan said, you're not going to want to do everything year one, and you can't do everything year one.
Gotcha.
But
listen,
yes,
Garrett, if you made this underwriting call on time, you would have heard our little spiel. We were waxing poetic here, man. You know, I don't know what time it is up there in North Carolina, man. Listen, farm time is supposed to be on time, not a half hour late.
I was on there. I just cut out for a couple minutes. Speaking of part time, I don't get much service out here in the sticks.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it.
I got you. Yeah, I was just wanting to get a little bit better understanding. I think that's how y'all are reflecting it or what have you. I was just wanting to make sure.
Yeah, one thing we go over is what we went over with them is, on rent, on the rent roll, you want to go over like lease termination, seeing when they're terminating, seeing, because that's going to reflect, how many of them we can fix up, how many of them we can upgrade. If they're below market rent, you can't increase them until the lease is expired. So, I mean, that's a super important part to know what's going on that rent roll.
Gotcha. Perfect.
Yep. For those of you guys that don't know, Garrett's one of our coaches as well. So he'll be on a call every week. So is Amanda. So and then we have the lovely Zach. And so that way you guys know, for those of you who are new, who Garrett is. Hey, don't let that accent fool you.
I'm even dumber than I sound.
Oh boy. All right, guys. Let's finish up the value add area and then answer any questions everyone has on this.
Yeah, so let me just cover. We talked about RUBS, but let me just talk about this section real quick for you guys. So when figuring out RUBS, this is a very simple way to analyze it when underwriting a property. When you do get more into detail, you're going to want to really dive in deep to analyzing the RUBS. But for now, we typically can bill back up to 80% of the utility bill. And so here's a place where you can kind of add that. So if this property is already implementing RUBS, 72%, I don't think we can really increase it much there. So that's just going to have to stay there. But let's say if that was lower, then we kind of put in, 30% or so, and we kind of just start to kind of bill back the tenants for utility billing. And again, you're not going to want to do that all year one. That's something you're going to have to spread out for sure throughout the years. But I think that really wraps up the value add tab. We kind of already went over the capital improvement section. Just want to make sure you understand your expenses and calculate that correctly, so you're not having to raise money during your deal, that you have enough up front. Then also you're not over raising, because sometimes that makes the deal not work as well.
Hey Zach, I would like to add a point that you reminded me of, but it's under the other income. You reminded me not to double dip. Like if it take place in the first year, it will automatically be effective in the second year. So
yes, that's a great point.
A valid point. Yeah.
Yes, thanks for bringing that up, Frankie. So year one is this $189,000 is already going to be implemented into year two and so forth. Some people put in year one stuff and then they include it in year two and add on top of that. Year one's already included. So that's why this is $189,000 in year one. And then year two, $63,000 on top of that $189,000. So you gotta make sure you kind of divide that by year. And this will just it will roll over on the back end of the spreadsheet. Thanks for that, Frankie. Any last comments, questions? I think I'm gonna wrap this up.
I just want to let you guys know too. You just went over RUBS. We actually have an awesome article that we're going to be posting to the path. So like I told you guys at the beginning, we're going to have a complete separate section. I mean, Zach and I are super passionate about underwriting. And so, we talked to Tyler and everyone, Melissa, that we wanted our own tab for underwriting. So we're going to be uploading, all of these. They're going to be recorded. Those will be in there. We've got Zach. He's doing a whole underwriting series. And so you can go in and watch those as well. That'll be included in there. And then we actually have articles that we're uploading on it. One of them is RUBS versus sub-metering, which makes more sense. And so it'll give a complete explanation of how this works, what you can do. So you guys can read through that as well. So, you'll start seeing a lot of new information being uploaded in there. I'm assuming we should have it done, I don't want to give you any dates, but it's just as soon as we get it uploaded in there. So I think Zach, you'll be done recording in the next 3-4 days, right? 5 days, maybe?
Yep. In the next few days, I should be done recording.
Hey, and then I know Melissa's on this call. It just depends on how fast she uploads it. Huh, Melissa? I'm just waiting for the shit kickback right here from her. Let's hear it, Melissa. Oh, if you guys don't know, Melissa and I love to joke around with each other.
I have a question. The call tonight, is there a schedule for the calls so that we don't miss them?
Yeah, every other week we have underwriting calls. They typically happen on Tuesday. We had some stuff yesterday, so they'll happen every other Tuesday on underwriting calls. And then every other every week on Thursdays we have calls as well. So it'll be group coaching calls on Thursday.
At what time? What time are these calls?
7 p.m. Eastern.
Okay. On both of them?
No, the underwriting will always be at 6 p.m. Eastern. If we can't make it, those will be recorded and put in. That's when Zach's still at the office. Bless his little heart. His little boy's sick today, and he's working from home. So he is, but that'll be at 6 p.m. Eastern for him.
Okay, and that's normally on Tuesday.
Every other week, correct? Yeah, and you'll have just like this. You'll register for the class every week, and you'll get that. And I think that Jackson should be reaching out to you to go over the whole schedule as well.
Okay, and then on Thursday you said it's at 7.
Correct. Thursdays at 7. Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Just so everyone knows that's everyone will have access to those group coaching calls. So I know we've had a few questions on that, but everyone will have access to those calls, and they'll be uploaded into the path as well. You guys can all thank Amanda. Give her a little clapping hand. She made it possible for everyone to be on it.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Amanda.
So awesome. So hey, I just want to give a few plugs out to some people.
I love to give away other people's stuff.
I love it. So I do want to give a few plugs. I mean, my hat's you love my background. It's in Florida. It's dark here right now, but a few little plugs. We got Frankie, Kayla. We've got Kim working on a deal in Texas right now. Make sure you guys reach out to them, see how you can help them out. We've got Brett. Who else? Eric. Megan. You guys are all working on a deal right now as well, right, Pete? I know you're working on a few deals, right?
Yeah, they've kind of vaporized, but we're going to give it another round.
All right. So I know there's a lot of talent in the network, and so we sent out a poll on Facebook of what are your strengths. We want to make sure that we put them into our when you guys call into the office with the coaches. You guys need maybe like a capital raiser, an asset manager. You need someone who's good at finding deals. We sent it out on Facebook of what is your strength. So we want to be start helping everyone out in the network, partner you guys up on teams. So make sure that you reply to that on Facebook. We'll send out another one as well. We want to update your profile in our system, knowing, so like Brett, let's say you come to us and say, hey man, I need a sponsor, I need a capital raiser, now remember capital raisers, we were on an SEC call, you have to have the capital raiser on your GP team. You cannot pay out a percentage based on what they bring to you. So you have to add them to your GP team. So, but we want to start doing that. There's a lot of people that I've talked to who are, you guys all have capital you've wanted to raise and put into deals, right? I'm more than willing to help you. Jackson as well. Zach is also, but if it's in our system, man, we can just start making referrals to you guys and it'll make it a lot easier for you guys to close deals.
I have a question. I had, and I'm waiting for someone to call me back. Coach, Jackson said, I don't know whether it's Zach or someone, but I had someone call me before I came to the 3-day workshop, and they wanted to purchase properties here in Florida, and they wanted to purchase over 200 units. So Jackson said that I'm not, was it Jackson or someone else? So that that's above my head right now, but I don't know, and I don't, but I asked, is there someone that I can, give it to, because I don't want it to just slip away. I mean,
Janina,
so I'm waiting for someone to call me on that.
You're on Zach's list to reach out to. Zach's going to be reaching out to you. I mentioned it to Zach yesterday. He was going to reach out today, but he had a little mix up with his son. His son got a little sick, so he had to stay home and work today. So he'll be reaching out to you probably tomorrow, because he didn't get to it today.
Yeah, I'll reach out to you tomorrow.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, did you say you had a deal in Florida?
Well, these people are in New York, but they want to purchase in Florida, and I've already reached out to some brokers. I want to give all that information to Zach, because, I don't know what I'm doing right now, but I don't want it to slip away. I mean, that's a nice, I think being a novice, that's a nice deal if it can happen.
I know Christian is looking for deals in Florida. Is he on this call?
Yeah, I mean, how come no one calls me about Florida deals? Holy crud, man.
You live in Florida.
I mean, I only live in Florida. I'm chopped liver today. I just chopped liver. Haifa. Come on, can you imagine this stuff? I can't even think and imagine this. Listen, we got a bunch of students from Tampa, man. I'm sure that they'll love to jump in on this. So you bet, man. I tell you.
Real quick, Ryan, sorry to interrupt you. It looks like Sherry has her hand raised. Sherry, do you have a question?
Oh, Sherry's questions is how she got onto the Facebook page. Jackson, you can help her out with that one.
Yeah, definitely, Sherry. I'll help you out with that for sure.
Michael Connor, your question is any other place other than Facebook? The answer is yes. We will shoot out emails for you guys to respond to. So you're right. You guys see me. I don't get on Facebook all that often. And listen, Tyler gets on me every day about that. So yeah, you'll see me start interacting on Facebook a lot more. So, but hey guys, before we do hop off, I do want to address a topic. I just had a phone call today about this. Here's the thing. Amanda will be going over this. I don't know if it's this week or next week, Amanda, but it's acquiring your first deal and what your goals are. I've had a lot of students reach out to me, whether it's email or whatever. about, man, Ryan, I want to get into a deal. I want to do this, and Amanda and I talk, quite frequently, and we talk a lot about this. I want you guys to think about what your goals are, right? I'll spend 2 minutes on this, but think about what your goals are as you join the network. If I were to ask each and every one of you guys what your goal is, Marini, are you on mute, or can you unmute?
Hello.
What's your goal, Marini? I'm going to pick on you really quick.
In the next 90 days, just to close the deal.
Close the deal. Awesome. I just had a great conversation with Marini today. And if you guys haven't got a hold of her, you guys make sure that you reach out to her. She has investors. She's out looking at deals too. She's in the network. So, awesome opportunity, guys, to partner up with her as well. But here's the thing. A lot of you guys have come in and said, hey, I want to close a deal. But then a lot of people are looking at 20, 30, 40, $50 million deals. And man, that's awesome. But MF Capital Partners has over $100 million in assets, and the biggest deal we've done is what was it, $27 million. We've done 31 unit deals, 35 unit deals. We've done 40 unit deals. We just closed on a 46 unit deal. Some of those smaller deals, man, are some of our most profitable deals that we've ever done. So I want you guys to think about this tonight as you evaluate it. Here's the thing. We always talk about 100 units because why? They're just easier to do, right? I mean, they're easy to do when you think about it. They're just as easy to do that compared to a 40 unit deal. But if your 90-day goal is to close a deal, right? Then close a 30 unit deal, close a 40 unit deal. Marini and I went over, 40, 35 unit deal, 40 unit deals, and the raise would be 840,000. Not a hard raise, right? But think about what that does for you guys, with your brokers. As you guys go to a broker and you tell them, hey, I just closed on a 40 unit deal, or like we just closed on a 46 unit deal. Think about what that does for you going forward, right? And I know, Amanda, you're going to talk about this next week on partnering and building your teams and setting expectations. But I want you guys to think about that. MF Capital Partners, we don't pass on 40 unit deals. If they make sense and they're good returns, man, we take them down, man. And so as you go to brokers, be specific in what you guys want. We want to be very specific. So like Marini and I went over, what, $4 to $8 million deals. We have, she has $2.5 to $5 million to place. And so the thing is be specific with your brokers and take down 30, 40 unit deals. I mean, I would love to help you guys out. And I know Amanda, we've got Garrett on here. Zach's got a team together in the office, man, to be able to help you guys out. If your goal is to close a deal in the next 90 days, man, start going after 30 and 40 unit deals.
Hey,
So
Ryan.
that's my spiel to you guys.
Hey, Ryan, on that, just one thing, just a little question, I guess, is a lot of times I've spoken with some potential sponsors, and even if we were to lower our criteria to say 40 to 60 units or whatever, a lot of them seem to not want to be involved in a deal that small. I guess, what would you say to combat that?
I've got 4 sponsors for you right now that will do that for you. Hey, I know you texted me before. You text me tomorrow. You and I'll talk. I've got 4 or 5 sponsors that will do it for you.
Yeah, so that's for anybody that's going to be on that goal setting call tomorrow. And I know that we have another call going on for those of you that have been in for a while. But in that goal setting call, we'll talk a little bit more about the size of the raise that you need to do and what we need to do in terms of talking to investors. But that's what you have to be thinking about. And as you just determine your buying criteria, that is definitely something that you have to consider. Is your sponsors need to be able to qualify for that. So different sponsors have different deal criteria. Some of them will do smaller deals, some of them won't. So that's where it's so helpful to have a pool and a group of, a group like this that has so many connections that, between us, we can all find somebody to get it done.
So, if I can just piggyback off that real quick. The reason we sent that poll up is because we want to be able to connect you guys. So if someone's really good at, capital raise or whatnot, and someone has deals, allow us to help you within the network, really build a team. So if you guys go on that Facebook or DM me or whatever, I'll be able to put a list together of everyone who's doing what specifically. And that way we can say, oh, she's got a deal here, he's got a deal here, and we can connect you to, and you guys know it's safe because it's within our network.
Awesome. Hey, for you guys that don't know this on the call, man, we got quite a few on here. Jake, if you haven't known, Jake's putting together a $20 million fund right now. I mean, Jake is in the office. He's one of our coaches and a very, very active investor. Jake has a ton of contacts. That's one of the reasons we brought him on, Matt, is a ton of contacts in the Utah market. But he's going to be over sponsors and connecting you guys with people within the network and sponsors as well. So if you haven't had a chance to reach out to Jake, reach out to him, get to know him. If you don't, you're crazy. I mean, that's exactly what his role is to be able to help facilitate partnerships, building your teams, but specifically sponsors. I look for Garrett White on here. He's not on here. But for those of you guys who have been on calls with him, he'll sponsor any deal up to about $4 or $5 million, as long as it fits the criteria, right? The big 3, And so if you haven't underwritten it with Zach knows what the big 3 is, But Garrett will sponsor. We've got Cindy Camp as another coach will sponsor up to about that amount. So there's a ton of people that will sponsor those. But reach out to Jake and he can help you guys out.
Thank you.
Awesome. So I hope I helped out, guys. I mean, I don't want to see you guys have false expectations of going after $50 million deals. I tell you this, the acquisition fee is amazing. Trust me, our biggest acquisition fee was $1.8 million. It's awesome to get it. But you're going after big investors to get those. Close on those 30, 40 unit deals. I promise you, you will see doors open up so fast. It doesn't matter if you close a 30, 40 unit deal or a 100 unit deal. Brokers just want to see you have the ability to close a multifamily deal. That's what they want to see. All right. Does anyone have any questions?
I gotta add one thing just to help Jake out, or he's gonna be bombarded with phone calls. so guys, as far as having a sponsor and being able to contact sponsors, it's really critical that even though I know everybody wants to get into a deal yesterday, they want to talk to sponsors right away, and you definitely should start building those relationships sooner than later. You need to get through the path first. You really need to have your education, be able to speak the language, have a clearly defined goal, know who your team members are going to be, what your skill set and strengths are. You want to have some ducks in a row, your market picked out before you start having conversations with sponsors, because we want to be sure not to waste their time. That they want to sponsor, not necessarily coach students.
That is the first question I'll ask you if you've been through all 4 weeks of the path before we do something. So that is required to be able to help with sponsorship. So
awesome, guys. Hey, well, we have gone into 7:15 Eastern time, so we want to wrap this up. Jackson, we got you on there. I think that Amanda, sorry, you said, is anyone in Las Vegas? I do go to Vegas as a single man quite a bit. So,
I was just wondering because me and my husband are going to come out there soon, and I just wanted to try to connect with people if possible. But it's
Vegas is a good market. If you want any kind of market research, get a hold of Hunter in the office. He can help you out with some market research there. So,
perfect. Thank you.
Vegas is a good market. It depends on what part of Vegas. So be careful when you get into that. If you're going to go to Nevada, go into the Reno area. It's a little bit better than Vegas right now, but not to say that Vegas isn't bad.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Any final questions at all? If not, we're gonna have Jackson wrap this up.
Awesome. Thanks, y'all. Like Ryan said, this will be uploaded to the path. We're glad everybody made it on. Zach, great job. Ryan, great job. Everybody that inputted, thank you so much for your input. Great questions as well. We love you all so much. Make sure to reach out if you guys need anything. Send an email to support@themultifamilymindset.com if you have any questions or you guys need anything. I oversee that email, so I want to make sure everybody gets taken care of.
Hey, really quick, Jackson, too, man. I just posted something on Facebook tonight. I know it was pretty close to the meeting.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, man. Is there any topics that you guys want to go over in the next, in a week or 2 weeks from now? Post those to the Facebook so I can start working with Zach on it, and we can go over those topics. So, man, post as much as you want. We'll make a list of things to go over with you guys. And listen, I don't know what to do, help you guys out with if you don't talk. So Brett will tell you. Brett will ask questions a lot. So
yes, I do, because I don't know anything, so I ask lots of questions.
If you ask, we'll answer. So
you're intelligent for asking those questions, Brett. Not a big deal at all. Also, for those of you that just signed up in Tampa, I texted you guys at the beginning of the week my Calendly link to schedule a time with me so I can make sure you guys get onboarded, get access to the path, get access to the private Facebook page, and set up your appointment with PCS to set up your guys' LLCs. So if you haven't set your appointment with me yet, please do, so I can make sure that you guys can take care of and getting all of the resources that you need. On that note, we'll go ahead and wrap up. Thanks again for everybody. Have a great rest of your night.